end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours?
Yes, I
How
can.
would you do that?
I know Zelenskyy very well.
I'll end that war between those two countries in 24 hours.
One eternity later.
I don't have deadlines. You know what my deadline is? Getting the war ended. We don't have deadlines. You agree with that?
Putin is not interested in that, and Trump is being played again every step of the way. He got played in Alaska. He's getting played every step here. So,
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Well, it appears that Trump's ridiculous comment that Putin wants Ukraine to succeed, yes, the same Putin that has waged war on Ukraine for, almost the past 12 years.
Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed. Once, it sounds a little strange, but I was explaining to the president, President Putin was very generous in his feeling toward Ukraine succeeding.
Not only made the Ukrainian president laugh while the world's eyes were on both of them, but prompted a reaction that Trump likely wasn't expecting on a news outlet that is usually favorable for the president, Fox News.
Vladimir Putin has no interest in peace. He continues to make that well known over and over again.
See, in the past 48 hours, Trump ticked all the usual boxes when it comes to his dealings involving Vladimir Putin and Ukraine. There was confusion, contradiction, and continued calls for appeasement.
In what we're talking. President Trump, some are saying that the recent attacks in the past couple of days that Russia has staged against Ukraine shows that President Putin isn't serious about peace. What is your reaction to that?
No, he's very serious. I think, I can say that I believe Ukraine has made some very strong attacks also. And I don't say that negatively. I think you probably have to. I don't say that negatively, but I think, and he doesn't tell me that, but there have been some explosions in various parts of Russia, and it looks to me like, I don't know, I don't think it came from the Congo. I don't think it came from the United States of America. It possibly came from Ukraine, but I haven't asked that question. Maybe I won't bother asking. They're fighting a war, and we'll see what happens, but I believe it's a war that we have two willing parties, we have two willing countries. They want to see it end. The people of Ukraine want it to end, and the people of Russia want it to end, and the two leaders want it to end.
All of which was encompassed today when the president said he did not know about an alleged attempt to strike Vladimir Putin's home overnight before saying he was actually told about it by the Russian president himself only hours earlier. See, Trump was answering reporters' questions at the entrance to his Mar-a-Lago property alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when he was asked about this alleged attack.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said on Monday that Ukraine had tried to attack President Vladimir Putin's residence in northern Russia, an accusation Ukraine said is a lie. Without presenting any evidence, Lavrov said Ukraine attacked the presidential residence in the Novgorod region with 91 long-range drones, which he said were all destroyed by Russian air defenses. Lavrov said no one was injured and there was no damage. He said that targets had already been selected for retaliatory strikes by Russia's armed forces. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy denied that his country had planned such an attack. Zelenskyy said that Moscow was preparing the ground to strike government buildings in Kyiv and that the claim was an attempt to undermine peace talks.
A reporter noted that Russia was claiming that Ukraine tried to hit the Russian president's residence. Asked if Trump had any information on the matter, Trump responded, quote, "No, I don't know about it actually. I just heard about it actually, but I don't know about it." Sensical, as always, from the sitting president.
I
don't want to comment.
President Trump, yesterday there was an explosion overnight and the Russians say that Ukraine tried to hit the residence of President Putin. Do you have any information?
No, I don't know about it, actually, and I don't, I just heard about it, actually, but I don't know about it.
Did you speak with
That would be too bad. That would not be good.
But then, only a few moments later, he said that Putin had told him about it hours earlier when they spoke by phone on Monday morning.
worried that the alleged strike on Putin's residence could scuttle the peace?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not good. I heard about it this morning. You know who told me about it? President Putin told me about it. Early in the morning, he said he was attacked. It's no good. It's no good. Don't forget, the Tomahawks. I stopped the Tomahawks. I didn't want that. Because we're talking about, it's a delicate period of time. This is not the right time. It's one thing to be offensive, because they were offensive. It's another thing to attack his house. It's not the right time to do any of that. and can do it. And I learned about it from President Putin today. I was very angry about it.
I mean, at this point, he's not beating the being controlled by Putin allegations. I mean, people might think he's being controlled in real time. And this debacle came just one day after Trump humiliated himself in front of Ukrainian President Zelenskyy, with his performance graded poorly across the board, as to be expected, but even on Fox News of all places.
Yeah. So in your conversation with President Putin, did you discuss what responsibility Russia will have for any kind of reconstruction of Ukraine post an agreement?
I did. They're going to be helping. Russia's going to be helping. Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed. Once, it sounds a little strange, but I was explaining to the president, President Putin was very generous in his feeling toward Ukraine succeeding, including supplying energy, electricity, and other things at very low prices. So a lot of good things came out of that call today, but they were in the works for 2 weeks with Steve and with Jared and Marco and everybody.
I mean, let's not forget that Russia invaded a sovereign nation here, and they could stop this at any time. Vladimir Putin has no interest in peace. He continues to make that well known over and over again. As soon as Zelenskyy left, he targeted them on Christmas. He targeted Kyiv again when Zelenskyy left to go to Florida. So it's interesting here what we're actually going to see come out of this. Zelenskyy has been trying to make concessions and trying to get to a peace plan. Putin is not interested in that, and Trump is being played again every step of the way. He got played in Alaska. He's getting played every step here. So it'll be interesting to see what shakes out of this meeting, because Putin has to also participate here, and he is not working in good faith.
Well, so what?
See, while Trump suggested that Russia might want peace and could see the conflict ending, Zelenskyy, publicly pushed back, saying that he doesn't see evidence that Vladimir Putin is sincerely seeking peace, before emphasizing that Ukraine would not cede territory or compromise its sovereignty without a national referendum.
This attack is, again, Russia's answer on our peace efforts, and it's really showed that Putin doesn't want peace, and we want peace, and he's the man of war, but he's afraid to speak about publicly, but we see these steps.
But is anyone surprised? Of course, Trump comes into this meeting pro-Putin. I mean, this is the same person who rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin last time, weeks after berating Zelenskyy in the Oval Office. The contrast could not have been more apparent. And it highlights a critical fault line in US policy. See, the message that Donald Trump is relaying to the world about Putin's intentions is very different from the message that Zelenskyy is relaying, having been on the receiving end of such peaceful intentions. If you're wondering how Trump's handling of this situation is being received by pro-Putin types in Moscow, well, they're thrilled, of course. I mean, take this from a Russian newspaper. America no longer sees our country as a threat. The US leader's philosophy is closer to the values of Russia's president, not the politicians of the old world. He sees Europe as a liberal stronghold that must be destroyed.
Well, this morning, Komsomolskaya Pravda has no doubt where Donald Trump's true sympathies lie. Based on America's new national security strategy, the paper concludes, for Donald, Russia is no enemy. It is a possible partner in future joint projects, because he understands a clash between two nuclear powers means the apocalypse. But Europe, he sees as a liberal stronghold that must be destroyed to make America great again. President Trump is often referred to in the Russian tabloids simply as Donald, very friendly. Contrast that with how the same paper talks about President Zelenskyy as the illegitimate Ukrainian president, while today's edition of the army newspaper Krasny Zvezda, Red Star, calls European leaders Russophobic politicians of the old world, Moscow making its sympathies crystal clear. Kommersant writes that 2025 heralded a new chapter in Russian-US relations. Izvestia is confident that Trump will pressure Kyiv to end the conflict as soon as possible. Talking of pressure, the Russian economy continues to be under a lot of that right now. As Nezavisime Gazeta reports today, industry has entered a perfect storm. The task for 2026 will be to live with that. New problems will be added to existing ones.
Swell work as always, Donnie.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.